Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. Hope you are having a fantastic day. In this video, I want to share a post-burn review of HomeWorx Spooky Vanilla. This is one of the Halloween fragrances that is available this year from HomeWorx. You can find this on the Rakuten & Co. website. I'll have it linked at the top of the description box right below this video here. If you plan on ordering this or anything else from the HomeWorx website, you can use my discount code MelanieP to save yourself 15% off of your purchase of $40 or more. So feel free to use that if you are interested. But yeah, you guys, this is the 3-wick version of Spooky Vanilla. I've actually already reviewed this fragrance in the past. In fact, I think I reviewed it about 2 years ago. But if there are any changes that happen with fragrances that I have already reviewed, I will make an exception. And in the case of this one here, this used to be a 4-wick, but now it is in the 3-wick specialty glass. I am actually extremely impressed with the performance of this particular 3-wick, which is why I am re-reviewing the fragrance, if you will. The strength and throw of this, for this being one of the 3-wicks, which by the way, I still stand by the fact that I'm not as big of a fan of the HomeWorx 3-wicks as some people are. I really wish that Harry would stick with the 4-wick format. I would love to see this faceted glass situation in a 4-wick. It's so beautiful. I mean, I think it's one of like their most specialty glass containers, and they've done quite a few, but this one is just so visually pleasing, at least to my eyes. So anyway, I really like this fragrance. There is caramel listed in the fragrance notes here. And if that turns you off, I'm gonna just ask you to just listen to the remainder of the review. If you have already seen the caramel and you're like, I'm out, just please listen to the review, because I too am pretty sensitive to caramel, and there's not a ton of it here. You might be okay with this one. So anyway, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and dig in and talk about all of the ins and outs of this 2025 version of HomeWorx Spooky Vanilla. So let's get into it. As always, we're gonna get started by reading through the scent story. All right. As the spirits come alive in the night, the air is filled with a ghostly scent of vanilla and caramel, with dark woods and musk for a spooky and kooky sensation. I'm not sure that I'm looking for any kooky sensations, but sure, whatever. All right, top, middle, and base notes. Let's dig into those. At the top, we have buttercream, caramel, and peach nectar. Again, please don't tune out because of the caramel. I know. Trust me, I know. I'm very picky about it too. There's not a ton of caramel here. There's some, but not a ton. The middle notes are vanilla, scary spices, and coconut. And then at the bottom, we have vanilla haunted woods and mysterious musk. So let's kind of start at the top here. To my nose, this version here has a healthy emphasis specifically on the buttercream. Here's the thing though, it's not an overly sweet buttercream note. It definitely has a vanilla bean buttercream type of vibe. But again, not overly sugary. It's like there's a little bit more emphasis on the like butteriness of the buttercream portion than like focus on like the sugar part of the buttercream, if that makes sense. It's really rich, really decadent, real nice. I like this buttercream note. I'm a huge fan of that. The caramel. Are you going to smell some caramel in here? You are. but it's not a lot. It's not a lot. And this is the thing for me. Usually when it comes to buttercream, as long as it is like more of a like background note, I'm actually okay with it. But if it's like the star of the show, if it's just mostly a caramel fragrance, that just smells incredibly cloying to my nose. This caramel here is maybe 5, maybe 10% of the fragrance. It really is more of like a hint than it is a like splash, like a healthy splash of caramel. So yeah, you will smell it, but it's not super prominent. The peach nectar is kind of interesting because I feel like there have been burns where I've gotten like this little whiff of like a peach skin type note, not a super sweet, like juicy midsummer type peach, but like more of like a peach skin and like a very small amount of that. So this definitely still is predominantly a not overly sweet buttercream fragrance to my nose. The vanilla, I've already wrapped that in with the vanilla bean buttercream. It really does smell like a vanilla bean type note to my nose. The scary spices. The only spice that I really get a lot of in here is nutmeg. I don't smell any cinnamon. I don't really smell any clove. I don't really get cardamom or star anise or anything like that. It's really just like a little dash of nutmeg, and I like it. I like it a lot. I do not smell coconut here. There's no coconut cream, coconut milk, coconut meat, whatever. There's no coconut in here to my nose at all. The vanilla haunted woods. Okay. There is a little bit of a interesting woody note right at the base of this fragrance that adds a little bit of depth. Like this is not like your typical vanilla type of scent. There is a little bit of depth here, but it just adds, I think it adds like a nice touch without taking away from that buttercream note. It still maintains being a pretty true, like delicious gourmand, but there is just a little bit of like a oaky, woody type of note. The musk, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I get like a hint of like a clean white musk out of this, and sometimes I don't think that I smell that at all. So yeah, overall, this is mostly still a gourmand fragrance with just a little hint of like woodiness at the base. I like this fragrance a lot. I think it's a really pretty fragrance. I think this is the perfect type of like blender scent for the fall. I love the way that it looks in this white packaging. It's great scent. Do I wish it was in the 4-wick? I still do. So, but I will say, for this being a 3-wick, I think it's pretty much kind of performing like most 4-wicks do from HomeWorx for me these days, which is somewhere in the range of like a strength and throw of like between a 6 and an 8, right? But this one here, for being a vanilla, I'm really impressed that so far up until this point, I would say that the performance has been a pretty solid 7.5. And I was not expecting that from a 3-wick format. This is a pretty strong fragrance for being a vanilla, and the throw is, I don't know. The throw I would probably give more of like somewhere between a 6 and a 7. It does spill out of the immediate area where I'm burning it, but it doesn't fill quite, you know, half of the downstairs. But it certainly is strong enough to where I can use it as a blender candle to tone some other spicier scents down a little bit. And it works really well for that. It's great on its own, but it's also a perfect blender fragrance. Has enough oomph for it to be that. So yeah, good strength and throw. And honestly, the burn quality has been great. I will say these wicks are quite skinny. And sometimes I have moments of like, are these just going to like break off at any moment? They're so skinny, but they work. Like I get a decent wax pull with each burn. I just trim the wicks, you know, to kind of an average length. And I go and I let the candle burn for about 3 to 4 hours at a time. And it's been a great burn experience every single time. Let me give you guys the overhead shot. You can see I am just about at the end of my 4-hour burn here. You can see that some of those like little carbon balls have, you know, fallen into the wax here and there, but they certainly haven't affected anything. But look how clean this burn has been. Like, I'm really impressed with that part. But yeah, do you see how those are skinny wicks? So there are some carbon balls that are gonna fall, that are gonna form right on the tops of the wicks there, but nothing like super dramatic. Just trim that off before the subsequent burns. But yeah, I have a solid wax pool here and I'm getting a pretty decent strength and throw for this being a 3-wick format, which obviously for me it's not my favorite, but I will say, it is a good performance. So if you're interested in trying the Spooky Vanilla this year, if you're not happy about this being the 3-wick format, I think it's still worth trying out. So again, I'll have it linked down below. If you purchased this year's version, let us know what you think in the comments down below. I really appreciate you guys being here today. Let me know if you have any questions. Give this video a big fat thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe if you are new, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.